Hello, my name's Deirdre Kent and I'm from Otaki, New Zealand, and we're launching a petition and we're asking for your help. We're launching this petition asking for a parliamentary inquiry into the best methods of making banks stable. We don't want customer bailouts, which they're planning now, and we certainly don't want taxpayer bailouts. We want banks to be stable in the first place. So what's a customer bailout? It's where the bank freezes your bank overnight and you wake up in the morning and find less of it available, and you don't actually know how much they're going to take out of your bank account as a haircut before they give it all back to you, if they ever give it all back to you. But they won't, because the customers take the brunt of the thing, not the secured creditors of the bank, which are largely offshore pension funds and so on. So we're saying that it's time to look at a serious proposal from two economists from the IMF who have revisited a Chicago plan paper in the 1930s, when there was a lot of ferment and economists were working on the best ways of getting out of the Great Depression. So what they've done is a very long paper, but the effect of it is to stop banks from creating the money of the country, and to control that and have 100% reserve banking, so that your bank deposits are completely safe and government doesn't have to guarantee them. After this freezing of your bank account, government will guarantee it, which is a tremendous risk for government. So you want the banks to take the risk of all the silly things they do, and we want the Chicago plan to be seriously looked at, because it stops bank runs, it reduces public and private debt, and it also stops the big highs and lows of the business cycle, reduces them. Of course, there's a lot to discuss, and everybody will have a chance to make a submission when there isn't a parliamentary inquiry. So if you help us get one, well, we'll actually work to get a stable banking system in New Zealand, because after all, that's what we need. We don't want all these crises going from country to country. New Zealand is particularly vulnerable, quite vulnerable, because even though our major four banks are owned in Australia, those four banks themselves are largely owned by US and UK banks. HSBC, JP Morgan, Citigroup are three of the largest, and NAB, they're some of the largest shareholders of our big banks. So we're not vulnerable to what happens. We're not invulnerable to what happens in the global economy. So you can help by downloading the petition forms, by looking at the Facebook page, by looking at the online petition, and the links are all there on the neweconomics.net.nz site, which I'll give you the link to below. So please help us. We want to close this petition by mid-April.